Welcome to Whom It May Concern, the podcast.
Welcome back to Whom It May Concern, the podcast, where we have real, honest conversations about life, growth, and legacy. Today's episode is all about mentorship, the power of lifting as we climb. Whether you're looking for a mentor or ready to be one, this episode will give you the tools to make meaningful connections. Mentorship has played a huge role in my life. I wouldn't be where I am today without the wisdom and guidance of people who took the time to invest in me. And now, as I navigate fatherhood, business, and life, I see the importance of passing that knowledge down. So let's get into it. Mentorship is about more than just giving advice. It's about creating pathways for the success of the next generation. So why does mentorship matter? We all hit roadblocks in life, and having someone who's been through it can help us navigate tough situations. Especially in Black and Brown communities, access to certain knowledge, networks, and opportunities hasn't always been available. Mentorship bridges those gaps. When someone believes in you, it can be the difference between taking action or staying stuck in self-doubt. A two-way street is not just about mentee growing. Mentors also learn from those that they guide. I have a prime example. The Lord was fortunate and he blessed me with the opportunity to mentor a young man who, at the very moment, has helped me create and curate both my podcast and other side entities. His knowledge and wisdom for media, production, and the arts was not just something that we both collectively have in common, but also at the tender young age of 13, it's important, that we connect and our worlds collide, because at 13, I needed someone to help guide me through life. I was just, coming into my teenage years. There are a lot of different, let's say, distractions or, roads and avenues that I could have gone down. So it was great to have older cousins be able to kind of pour into me, right? And allow me to be able to flourish so that I didn't get, kind of caught up in my confines. As a result of that, was able to successfully graduate high school, went to Howard University, and here I am today able to talk to you, all because of mentorship and those relationships. So I'm very thankful for Dylan Graham. Been my little bro, and I'll forever be his big bro. But mentorship works. So how do you find a mentor? Well, great question. Let's talk about that. And let's talk about how to find the right mentor. So a lot of people think mentorship only happens in formal programs. But honestly, some of the best mentors come from everyday relationships. Look within your network. Who are the teachers? Who are the coaches? Who are the business owners? Or even church leaders? Mentors are all around you. Sometimes we just need to reach out. Seek mentors in your industry. If you're a creative, connect with other creatives. If you're a business, find a successful entrepreneur who aligns with your values. Be intentional. Don't just ask, can you mentor me? Instead, say, I admire how you built your career. Would you be open to sharing some advice? Additionally, be willing to learn. Mentorship isn't about getting handouts. It's about being coachable, applying the lessons, and showing appreciation for the time that's been given. So for an example, when I first started this podcast, I didn't know the first thing about structuring episodes or building an audience. So I reached out to a good friend of mine who's now my mentor and producer. My friend Gabe is someone who I confide in, quite frankly, for a lot of my business matters. And I reached out to him in a difficult time, and he was able to sit me down and walk me through how things need to go, quite frankly. So in our regular conversations, I've learned so much that I probably wouldn't have been able to really figure out on my own for years. Super thankful for that. Now let's flip the script. We've talked about finding a mentor, but what about becoming one? A lot of us don't realize what we already have to offer. You don't need to have it made to pour into someone else. You just need experience, you need wisdom, and a willingness to share. I prefer to lead by example. The best way to mentor is to embody the lessons that you teach. People learn from what they see, not just from what they hear. Therefore, be available, but set boundaries. A great mentor is accessible, but doesn't need to be on call 24/7. Set clear expectations about your time and your availability. Listen more than you speak. Sometimes mentorship is just about creating a safe space for someone to help them process their journey. I can attest to this. I call Gabe at least once a week. Could just be about, parenting, whatever the case may be, he's available. But also I understand that he has a family to attend to. So I don't want to abuse his time. But whenever we do communicate, it's always helpful and it's always relatable. A good mentor supports, but a great mentor also pushes their mentee to grow beyond their comfort zone. I challenge my mentee all the time. Dylan is involved in plenty contests. As a matter of fact, towards the end of this month, he's going to be in a showcase. So we're going to prepare for that showcase like none other. He's going to practice. He's going to get his routine down pat so that when he stands and, showcases his ability to the world, there's no denying that he's going to be the best contestant there. Now that we've talked about the importance of mentorship, here's my challenge for you. If you need a mentor, identify one person you admire and reach out to them this week. It doesn't have to be a formal mentorship. Just start the conversation. If you have experience to share, consider mentoring someone younger or less experienced. You never know how much a difference your story can make. Mentorship is how we break cycles, how we uplift each other, and how we create lasting change. We rise by lifting others. This was a powerful conversation, and I hope that it sparks something in you, whether it's in finding a mentor or even becoming one. Until next time, stay learning, stay growing, and stay lifting as we climb. Peace and love, y'all. It's a great topic. It's a great topic for a lot of different reasons. I think mentorship, and I think at an early age, I didn't really know what like mentorship was. And I was always afraid to join those like Big Brother, program. I've seen them, but as like the mentee, I didn't really want to get involved in that. My mentors were always like just the people I looked up to or admired in the neighborhood. So that was like my older friend, Danny Howell or Jay, and they're the guys that I ran with. Like those were, I looked up to them. Once Danny started driving, you couldn't tell me anything. I was like, I'm with Big Bro all day long. Then he put sound system in a speaker in this red neon, I kid you not, and we were up and down the street.
It's such a impressionable age, and we have our heroes, right? Probably, I don't want to say quite peers, but close in age, that they're a year or two ahead of us, that we look at them as heroes. But it's also a very vulnerable age, because we can also end up getting with the wrong quote unquote mentors,
100%,
right?
100%.
And so how do you as a kid, like sometimes you get with these quote unquote heroes or mentors, and then they ended up leading you paths that aren't good. And that's where I think more programs, specifically like the Big Pro, that kind of thing, where these are the mentors are people that are solid people that have the best interests at heart.
Yeah.
Not saying that kids can't have their friends and their buddies that they're their heroes, that they look up to. You can on one part get lucky, and another part, maybe as parents, we need to kind of raise our kids to be picky about choosing their friends and how to help them out navigate that part. Because as a parent, you can always do so much, but sometimes your kids do need to hear certain things from somebody else.
Yeah.
That happened to me too. There's things that I didn't want to listen to my parents, and then somebody else told me, and it was like coming from the mouth of God,
Right.
And my dad or my mom was like, we've been telling you that, but I needed to hear from somebody else.
Yeah.
But what the one thing that they did do very well is they taught me how to pick my friends, people that have my best interests at heart.
So they also kind of gave you discernment, right? Because you got to have a little bit of discernment. Now, I'll be honest with you. I knew if some of my friends were going off the deep end or, veering in the direction I didn't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I think mentoring stops and like peer pressure takes over.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, you should have like a more of a mentoring component where you're actually going somewhere like what they call Big Brothers, all those different places where you actually signed up with a mentor. Y'all go to the park, y'all go to a venue, and instead of just kind of letting like the neighborhood dictate or take care of that. So there is you have to have discernment. I think my mom was good about that. Probably didn't know. She probably thought the best of all of my friends, and that's fine. Boys are gonna be boys. But she gave me a long leash, but also like the wisdom to know, like, all right, I'm not gonna go that route. I'm gonna fall back on this one.
But it's hard though. Like when you're that age, I mean, Dylan, like, what do you think about, other friends that you have that are maybe older that you look up to? Like, can you really tell like that they're doing good things, or do you just go along with the ride, or what do you think?
I said I don't really have like a lot of older friends, but most of my younger friends I can like tell if they're going on a good path.
So like when you see the right things, right? Do you navigate towards kind of the guy or the individual that's doing the right things or that's on the up and up, doing the things that they're supposed to, or does peer pressure often kind of take you to like, I want to do what the other cats are doing?
Kind of like doing the right thing.
But I think that comes with like solid parenting. Like that tells me that he has some solid parenting, because
listen, I know his mother well.
There's a good chunk of our youth that they just want to be cool.
Yeah.
And they don't care about the consequences, partly because at that age their brains aren't fully developed.
Right.
No offense, bro. But they just go with what's cool and just they want to make their mark. But when you have solid parenting, there's going to be always, like you said, boys are big boys. There's going to be a little bit of that, but there's also a little bit of wisdom there intermingled where it's just enough to keep them, towards a good path.
Yeah.
But it's very important, man. It's very important. Like I said, like if a lot of young people are going to be watching this, it's cool to have friends that are older that you look up to, but also just look at them and see, are their lives going on a path that is actually meaningful? Like, are they contributing to their circle, because I'm not saying to society because maybe they're still young, but like just look at how they're contributing with their friends. Are they lifting each other up? Are they making each other better?
Yeah.
If they're in athletics, like are they training together, or if they're in like school for science or whatever, are they studying together and making each other better? Like those are the type of friends and mentors that as a young man or a young woman, that's the type of people that you want to surround yourself with.
Absolutely. A part of the programming that we talked about was kind of like leading by example. And there was one summer when my cousin was living in Washington, D.C., was already established, was working for the government, I think, or a bank at that time. I remember he came, to upstate New York one time and just had the big body Escalade truck or some type of SUV. At that time, these are new things that I'm just seeing, but they're attractive nonetheless. And I'm like, what is that? Like, how did you get that? And he bought me a ticket to come and visit. And I spent a little bit of time in Prince George's County for about 2 weeks or so. And it was the first time that I had actually seen affluent people of color, Black and brown people of color. That was the first thing. I'd really been, I'd never really stepped outside of the four walls or confines of Rochester in that capacity, but he was able to show me like businesses that I was just like, man, we don't have any of this where I'm from. Like, is that the car like, this is your car? That's your house? So it exposed me to, okay, there's more to life than what I was dealing with. And it wasn't so much that he felt the need to be a mentor, but more so that he wanted to lead by example in terms of like, hey, I know you're up here. I'm from here. I know there's not a lot going on here. So I want to show you a little bit about what you can, have if you stay on the right course.
And that's to your point too. Like for the other side, if you want to be a mentor, like there's all kinds of different mentorships, and like in your case, that's a great point. Like sometimes, you may like if you want to be a mentor and you think, well, I'm not a good speaker, or I don't have a niche where, but you know what? Like maybe there are experiences that you can help other people, like you're saying, like by leading by example. Like, hey, let's go on a trip. Let's go to a town over and hang out with other crowds. And then a kid now that all he knew was this little town,
Right.
maybe goes like half an hour away because your friend is probably older and has a driver's license,
Right.
and just drove you to the next town over where you got to experience like, whoa, there's a whole nother side of this world that just opened your mind.
100%.
And that was a great mentorship. Like that was a great mentorship experience.
100%.
Like he didn't have to probably tell you like deep knowledge things, or he's like, hey, he just drove you over to the next town, have a pizza or whatever, and it just opened your mind, just experiencing another place, seeing other people.
I got to see him get up in the morning. He and his wife got up in the morning. They went to their jobs, right? Got dressed, suit and tie, which was cool. And I was like, wow, this has got a real career. But I think subconsciously he knew he just wanted to expose me to that, so that I would then kind of get the wheels turning of, all right, it's go time. Let me stop BSing and goofing off or doing whatever I was at that time, because I'm pretty sure I was being a knucklehead. And that experience shaped me to be like, oh, there's more. I'm getting out of here, and I'm going to get to that. And Gabe, guess what? I'm 40 plus. I got a roof over my head that looks like his. I have great friends, vehicles. The vision that he introduced me to, I had it. I experienced it. I lived it. And mentorship was, a great part of that.